So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know why this video is so late. But either way, we've got a dope pair of shoes that I really like this model. The colorway is maybe a little bit crazy, but of course we're gonna get into it. And today we're gonna really get into the pros and the cons of this specific sneaker model. So without further ado, let's jump in to take a look at the Nike Sacai Vaporwaffle in the Dark Iris colorway. We got a Sacai box, so take a look at that size tag just in case you wanted to take a look, and now let's pull this pair of shoes out. So let's whack these out. The very bright and colorful and good looking, I would say, Nike Sacai Vaporwaffle in the Dark Iris colorway. So these actually released last month. They retail for £160 here in the UK or $180 if you're out in the US. And if we're talking resale prices, this Dark Iris colorway is actually not that bad. It is currently sitting at about £200 on StockX, which is £40 over the retail price. Now that is kind of a mid-range, I'd say. Generally speaking, for all the sizes, they're going for about £200 to £250. And then as you move up to the other colorways, it just gets more and more ridiculous. So the price is definitely going to play a big part into the accessibility or just why you may want to get this specific colorway of the Nike Sacai Vaporwaffle. Now this is a loud colorway on top of a loud sneaker model. I mean, we're definitely not talking something that is something you would throw on every single day, okay? It clearly has some very bizarre accents and design details that make this a very standout shoe. And when you slap all over purple on it with some orange accents, you're gonna get a crazier look. Let me start by going over some of the pros, some of the things that I like about the Sacai Vaporwaffle, this specific colorway in general, and then some of the things that I think are considerations or maybe things that I don't like that much about this pair of shoes, especially if you're someone who is looking to pick up a pair of these. One really cool thing about this pair of shoes is how comfortable it is and how that is kind of surprising. When you look at it, you don't really think comfort is the first thing that comes to mind. However, this is a very comfortable pair of shoes. The actual foam or cushioning material is really nice. Now you kind of get a softer material at the top, which I believe is Zoom X, and Zoom X is notoriously comfortable, as you know from many other Nike running sneakers. And then the other two foams, which I'm not 100% sure what they're called, but they're definitely not solid. They are nice, squishy, and overall when you're wearing these, it feels super comfortable. Now, of course, the height of this midsole, well, you're gonna gain a couple inches at least when you're wearing this, and that could fall under a pro or a con depending on who you are. It's a little bit more of a subjective thing, whether you like to be a little bit more propped up off the ground or whether you just do not want any extra inches and you find that having such a thick midsole is a problem. That's really down to you to decide. For me, I don't mind it too much. I kind of like the overall chunky aesthetic that it brings to this pair of shoes. Another thing that I like is the materials that they've used. The actual leathers feel really good. Of course, you find the leather around by the heel counter, and of course the first Nike swoosh, which you find on the lateral and the medial side. And then the suedes, they also feel really nice around the toe box. Even on this colorway, it feels really nice. It's not that hairy, definitely not as hairy or nappy as this one. If I show you a close-up of the difference between the two materials, this one's a little bit more soft and short, and this one is definitely a little bit rougher and a little bit more nappy. idea to take two different sneaker models, two different Nike heritage models, mash them together into one to create a kind of hybrid. I think the combination makes for a really good looking shoe. In my experience wearing this pair of shoes, and because it is a lot more of a chunkier pair of shoes, the kind of joggers that are baggy go really well with this. Baggier cargo pants or shorts go really well with this as well. I've kind of stayed away from skinny jeans or skinnier, tighter fitted trousers just because I don't think it looks that great with it. Now, some things you want to consider about the Sacai Vaporwaffle, and some things I'm going to kind of put as my I don't really like category or the cons category. And the first thing that comes to mind is the weight of this shoe. It's a pretty heavy pair of shoes. Now, these are definitely not as heavy as Balenciaga sneakers. However, they are heavier than your run-of-the-mill shoe. So when you're wearing these, you're going to notice that, and there may be a learning curve to the way that you walk around in these, just because they are a little bit heavier and you may take some getting used to. Another big thing, of course, is going to be the price tag. For me, just all of the Sacais have been insanely expensive. If you look at the first two colorways, those are just ridiculously expensive. Now, with these two new ones, because they've just released, it is a little bit better. I definitely think the price point is something to take into consideration. They are pretty expensive. In my opinion, the pros outweigh the cons, and that's why I own a pair and I enjoy wearing that pair of shoes. But again, it is entirely down to you whether you like the Sacai and Nike Vaporwaffle. I've gone true to size with all of the Sacai Vaporwaffles, and it has fit me just fine, so that is what I would suggest to you guys in terms of sizing. Overall, in my opinion, the pros outweigh the cons on this pair of shoes. Now, I want you to let me know what is your favorite colorway of the Sacai Nike Vaporwaffle. It can be out of these three or just out of all of them in general. Let me know down in the comment section. But of course, thank you so much for coming through, hanging out. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing to the channel. I do appreciate you guys so much, but I will catch you guys in the next one. But until then.